Test number 3, coolant and temperature gauge. This test is made after the engine reaches operating temperature and the system is pressurized. A. Temperature. Refer to the temperature gauge on the analyzer. B. Accuracy of vehicle temperature gauge. Check the vehicle's temperature gauge reading against the temperature indicated on the analyzer. If the temperature gauge is a degree indicating type. Number 1. If the vehicle's temperature indicator is a red light indicator, the light should not come on unless the temperature shown on the analyzer is at or above the rating for the block sending unit. Check the manufacturer's specifications. Number 2. If the analyzer shows the coolant is within acceptable operating limits, but the vehicle temperature gauge indicates overheating, then the sending unit may be at fault, or there is a slight possibility that the block is plugged from the sending unit back. Test number 4, aeration. This test is made while the engine is at fast idle and indicates a leak in the suction side of the system if coolant contains continuous little bubbles circulating through the system. A. Aeration is generally caused by 1. Air pulled past the pump seals or gasket caused by the vacuum condition at the pump inlet. 2. Air pulled into the hose and past loose clamps, especially in the hose connection between the bottom tank of the radiator and the pump inlet. Tests 5, 7, and 8 should not be attempted until the engine has reached operating temperature and the system is pressurized. The thermostat must be fully opened in order to perform these tests, and the analyzer must be completely full of coolant. Test number 5, combustion leak. This test is made by loading the engine and observing the coolant in the analyzer. For automatic transmissions, place in drive and fast idle the engine. For manual transmissions, place in first gear and load the engine by lugging. A. Exhaust gas leaking from head gasket or cracked head will be indicated by 18 to 30 little bubbles that come into the chamber every time the engine fires on the cylinder that is leaking. B. The pressure gauge will pulsate excessively due to the pressure escaping from the combustion chamber into the water jacket, providing the pressure cap is holding properly. C. With the engine turned off and the analyzer still hooked up, locate the leaking cylinder as air is blown into it. Both valves must be closed on each cylinder as you inject air into them. D. If the block is cracked from the oil gallery into the water jacket, oil bubbles will come up on the face of the inlet chamber. Test number 6, gallons per minute rate of flow. This test is made with throttle held at approximately 2,000 RPMs. A. If the water pump is working and thermostat is fully open, the ball in the flow meter will rise and indicate the number of gallons per minute circulating in the system by the graduation directly opposite the flow meter ball on the side of the analyzer. Test number 7, water pump. A. Open throttle to approximately 2,000 RPMs. The flow meter ball should shoot up quickly to a rated GPM for that particular radiator and hold at that level. If ball fails to rise to the rated GPM, then the water pump is defective. Test number 8, radiator. A. Open throttle to approximately 2,000 RPMs and hold for about 15 seconds. If the radiator is partially plugged, the ball in the flow meter chamber will indicate the GPM flow rate expected and then will drop in accordance to the stoppage of the radiator. Note, if the radiator has stoppage, chances are that the engine block also has stoppage, which calls for a chemical flush treatment. Step 7, post-test procedure. After completion of test with engine turned off and no pressure in the system, drain coolant as per step number 1. Now disconnect the analyzer. Warning, never use quick disconnect or bulb pump to release pressure from analyzer or system when hot. Severe burns may result. Step 8. It is very important to rinse out the analyzer with warm water after each use. Dried rust, dirt, or oil in the analyzer will cause poor test results or may cause malfunction of the analyzer. It will only take a few minutes to flush the analyzer out. If necessary, clean it with the brushes provided. A mild liquid soap may be used along with warm water to keep the analyzer in top working condition. After drying, replace the analyzer in its box for protection and to avoid loss of parts. In conclusion, keep in mind that an overheating condition in an automobile may not be the fault of the cooling system. If the cooling system components pass the test with the analyzer, then the problem is not in the cooling system. Something in the car's system is causing the engine to run too hot for the cooling system to keep it cooled down.